Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Toronto Blue Jays franchise mode series right here on MLB The Show 18. You know the deal. In this episode, we begin our 6th season with the Blue Jays. 6 seasons already. And when we look at this team, I'll tell you right now, up front, there's been a lot of changes to get this team set up, to get this team good to go. So here's everything that's happened. I'm just gonna scroll through it now, and if you care for the details, you can look at it in your own time. But yeah, a lot has happened, which brings me to this roster, which, by the way, is the 9th rated team in the league, 1st in speed, 8th in contact, 17th in power, 15th in pitching, and 22nd in defense. That whole idea of turning things around. Of course, we have made the playoffs every single season that we have been here. Last year, a little bit disappointing. 2 straight wildcard losses as we have taken that step back. But we're still in that good of a spot where, again, I think the plan of being ready to go, being the true contenders once the core of the Yankees and Red Sox begin to age and begin to decline, I think we're still on pace for that. Not to mention the fact that the Rockies ended up taking quite a big piece of that Yankee core away in the past offseason. This is the team as it currently stands. Mike Soroka, still our ace. We're going to hope that he has a better season, but he was still okay last year. Diego Liriano, now an 88. He's actually an 83, but an 88 with morale is there. Hunter Green as well, another guy who's benefiting from a morale boost right now. Zach Eflin, on the other hand, a little bit aggravated to begin this season, mainly in his pay. We ended up keeping him aboard because we can for the moment. There were a couple of other starting pitchers that I was okay with moving on from to keep him around. He's not going to be around for that much longer, though, our World Series hero, of course. And then Henry Murillo will also be in the starting rotation this season. The bullpen, we see a new addition in Luis Gohara, who we picked up from the Braves. Did not have the best season last year. An 11-3 record's not too bad. He fits in well as a long relief pitcher, of course. From there, we still have Jordan Hicks. Fingers crossed he does a little bit better than last season. Jeff Bergman here as well. We just picked him up from Oakland. Again, someone who did not have the best season last year. He's a 79, playing like a 76, but 21 years old and B potential. Excited to see what he can do. Victor Arano as well, now 28. He was our closer for a decent portion of last season. He was also pretty solid, but I want to use him a bit more regularly. And Jerome Herman, perhaps, 22 years old. Again, not the best season last year, but I'm excited to see what he can do. And that brings us to the setup man, Jose Alvarado, who we picked up from Tampa in one of those myriad of trades. The 27-year-old, again, not coming off that great of a season last year out. But we needed to improve the bullpen. I needed to bring in some bullpen depth, and we have done just that. James Hu, the South Korean, is going to be our closer this season. He has the best clutch rating on the team, and, it's still worth developing him at this point. I'm not really worried about any of his attributes aside from maybe the 50 control. So it's a decent mix, some new faces, some old faces, but it was a necessary move. We didn't really move on from anybody in terms of relief pitching, but we were able to drop some people back down towards AAA where they perhaps should be, as opposed to having someone like a Bill Snowden on that roster. As it is, this AAA lineup, haven't really set it up yet. I completely forgot to do this, and that is fine. Let's see who we actually want to run as our closer. 79 clutch for Dennison. Congratulations. And we'll probably go with a man who is actually a closer, that being Snowden. Who has the best stamina? Okay, well, we have 2 starters. Are you actually starters? You are starters. I didn't think... Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, that's what it is. Mazzo's not a starter. Okay, now see, this is why on occasion it pays off to double check this. I'm like, wait a minute, here's a problem. That is why on occasion you don't want to let the AI set up things for you. They do crazy things. We're going to go with Bennett as our long reliever, and that is going to be the step there. Let me just double check the clutch with Mazzo. I think we're good. Is anybody? There we go. Now let's have Villalobos as the ace, and from there, it doesn't really matter, but that's going to be the setup. So case in point here, it's a decent mix in terms of the bullpen for players that we already had and new acquisitions through trading. Tony Dennison's one of them. We picked him up from Cleveland in a trade. We're looking a little bit better now. Decent amount of potential. Of course, we have some guys at the major league level who are a little bit pissed. Man, it didn't set up the double-A roster as well. It'll set up the double on its own, but in fairness, I would rather do it right now just to make sure it's done correctly and that we don't end up using or having players in spots where they really shouldn't be. So, quick and easy change here, just making sure everyone's good to go. And they should be. Pena, probably, definitely way too good for Double-A, but I'm hoping that he is just able to tear this league apart, to be honest. Let's go with Castro as the long reliever. And then from there, let's see, 52 clutch, 61. 61 is going to be the way to go, isn't it? 67 and the 61, so there you go. That is the Fisher Cats bullpen for this season. So you see what we've changed there. Lineup-wise, Art Matheny's actually going to be in the lineup. The game recommended we go with him over Arias, which, again, not necessarily overly confident in the game's decision-making, but we'll try Art Matheny. He has C potential. We'll try him to begin this season. Bo Bichette second at short. Junior, Miea, Martin, Santana, of course, Taveras, Robles, Urena, and Lazaro Armenteros. I thought it was Luis for a second. I completely read over that. So Arias is on the bench, Cassidy, Hernandez, and Andy Wales, the rookie. So in terms of infield options, if Art Matheny's slipping up, it's some tough competition. You really can't afford to slip up. There are plenty of people battling for those spots. I'm going to let the AI, of course, just decide the AAA and AA roster. I'd say the main player I'm looking at here, though, is Ryan Dahl. This should be his last year in the minors. So that aside, our roster is good to go. The one thing, of course, that we're going to want to do, not everybody's favorite thing. Hell, it's not my favorite thing to do. But let's go ahead and get through the scouting. Prince isn't the best at scouting pitchers. I'm still just going to let him for the sake of time. In terms of our grades, by the way, first base, we have the best first baseman in the game, the second best catcher. I still think we'll do okay this season. I am fairly confident in our team. Of course, we start off the season with a series against the Yankees, 2 games, and we drop both of them. Perhaps this will be the first year in which we actually take a step back. I'd like to think not, but we'll give the team time. But an 0-4 start to the season, dropping all 4 games to the New York Yankees. Not exactly what I had in mind. In fairness, let's see. Yeah, they're the 3rd-ranked team, Boston at 6. Okay, so they're not exactly dropping off yet, but hopefully they will in the future. Bergman, we will keep you active as we do pick up our first win of the season, 6-3 over the Chicago White Sox. So there we go. We got that first W out of the way. Let's go ahead and scout velocity here. We'll be good to go the next 2 days. We end up winning that quick 2-game series against Chicago, so that's good. Got a couple of wins on the board here early. Let's go lefty clutch. Lefty clutch, lefty clutch, and lefty clutch. Beautiful. The next 2 games here, the first 2 games of a 3-game series against Texas, and we end up winning both of those. Rebounding well. Of course, it is still way too early to try and sit here and say, like, oh yeah, we're good, we're going to rebound well, or oh yeah, we're going to be a playoff team. Time will tell. We're on a nice 6-game winning streak, though. That is a fine way to bounce back after a very rough start to the season, courtesy of that series with New York. But there we go, we're getting starting pitching out of the way. We do lose to Baltimore, but we end up winning that 3-game series, capping it off with an 11-0 victory. Sonny Gray had a very, very bad day. There are bad days on the mound, and then there's what just happened to Sonny Gray, unfortunately. Unfortunate for him, of course. I'm feeling pretty good about it, as we have a 3-game series coming up against Cleveland. And it's always these matchups, New York, Boston, Cleveland. We haven't been able to escape these teams. will never be able to escape these teams. I'm convinced that they're just never going to fall off. Let's go arm strength and fielding among all catchers. See what we have here. As Miea is out for 1 to 2 weeks, we'll have that go auto, and we actually lost all 3. A clean sweep there for Cleveland. Shashin has found all catchers in his region already, which for some reason I doubt. I go power and contact. He's just outright found all of them. All right, so to the infield you go. Let's go fielding and arm strength for the hell of it. And here, let's go power contact, power and contact. Beautiful. The next 2 games, we're starting off a series against Kansas City. I guess I'll go autofix lineup to see what the AI recommends. We split those first 2 games. Let me handle the scouting. Power contact's good, so infield, let's go fielding and arm strength. You get to continue on that just to catch everybody up. Because why the hell not? It's easier that way. Not speed, arm strength. So lineup-wise, it has Bichette leading off, Urena third. That's not bad. I'm okay with that lineup as it stands. It works for me. Reed Hernandez, the 9 guy in the lineup right now. We do end up winning that series against Kansas City. We start another 4-game series with the Yankees. We do take game 1 though, 10-10 on the year. Let's go speed and contact, speed and contact, speed, and guess what? Contact, and then infield, speed and contact. Beautiful. The next 2 games against New York. What is going on? As we have at the very least secured a split in that series. Wouldn't have thought that as we got it underway after what happened earlier this year. We do take 3 out of 4. Ross Hall will keep you active down in AA, so we do have a winning record at the moment. And let's see. Now we move on to the outfield. Let's go arm strength and... let's go arm strength and speed, and then we'll go fielding and speed on the outfield. So arm strength and speed. Outfield, arm strength and speed. Outfield, arm strength and speed. So we're just about to that point. We're a month out from the draft, but we're just about to that point where we can actually start looking at these players as we start a series with Boston. Let's activate Miea. We'll get him onto the bench. Let's sim this next game against Boston. We're able to win that. We'll auto-utilize Ross Hall. And as far as Miea goes, he's still not 100%, so we'll leave him out for now. Scouting-wise, let's go fielding speed, fielding speed, fielding speed, and fielding speed. Here's the one problem, though, that we're constantly running into. We will auto-utilize Miea. The White Sox are offering a trade. Chadwick. Will Chadwick. I'm good. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not trading him anyway. As we end up taking 3 games against Boston and taking the first game of the series against Texas as well. We're looking good. I gotta admit. Let's go contact and speed. You're done with outfielders? You are done with outfielders. Let's go contact and speed, contact and speed. And you, sir, I don't know, again, what the hell we really need to do here as far as who we want to prioritize. So I'm just going to go off the big board and see who the hell is worth scouting. And the first guy I see here is Joel Samuels, so why the hell not? That's who he'll take a look at. Let's go with the next 2 games. We do lose to Texas. Area should be fine, and we end up taking 2 out of 3 against the Rangers. And the last one here, finally. We'll go power contact. All outfielders have been discovered, so let's see. You can take a look at DeAndre Hyde. You can take a look at Emil Silva. And then old Biden here can look at power contact. You can also look at power contact, and we'll handle it that way. 3 games against Minnesota. We dropped the first and the second. Not necessarily ideal, as we are now able to just sit here and look at whoever the hell we want. So take a look at Sam Donald, Evan Malone. Henry Murillo is 3 years out at 24, so absolutely not. Enrique Guerra, the closer, or the catcher. And DeAndre Hyde's 22. Yeah, we can get a full report on him. Why the hell not? Can we win at least 1 game against Minnesota? We don't yet know, but we can lose Bill Snowden to injury. We do end up winning that game against the Twins. So 18-14 now on the year. Let's take a look at O'Brien, Peralta. 4+ years out at 21. I don't exactly want you making your debut at 25. 24, a little bit more acceptable in my mind. So Justin Brown and John Gray will be the next guys that we end up scouting here. 3 games against Tampa. We win the first 2. That's what I like to see. Novak. Mateo. Supposed to be ready next year. We'll take a look at you. Murillo, absolutely not. Buford Gilmore. Good old Buford. That's what every team needs, is a Buford, as we end up sweeping Tampa. We're 22 days out from the draft. Let's see here. Alvaro Delgado. Jermaine Bruntlett, 3 years away at 23, so absolutely not. Kirby, I can't pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. Are you kidding me? Why would I try? I'm first baseman Casey Lopez. 3 games against Seattle, and we lose Lou Hurley down in Double-A for 2 to 3 months, and we end up losing both games there. So Hurley, DL. He is a reliever, right? And Snowden is also still out for the Bison. So let's go relief pitchers, and we will bump up Rosado just to get him into the rotation there, and then the AAA guy is going to be back here soon, so we should be all right. That would have been Snowden. Of course, I'm not against the AI managing it, but, you know, sometimes you just want to be a bit more hands-on, as we end up winning back-to-back games. So we at least didn't get swept by Seattle, and we end up beating Boston in that first game. Chuck Boyer should be ready next year. Floyd Harris, William Lytle, and let's keep taking a look here at Evan Malone. Next game against Boston, 7-2 win, and we end up sweeping Boston. Rivas is going to be down for a week or 2 down in Double-A. 25-16 on the year. So how are we doing right now? We're actually in first in the division, a game and a half up on the Yankees. Not bad. Still 9th in terms of our rating. 25 wins ties us for 3rd around the league. So we're looking okay. Shockingly. I mean, again, I didn't expect us to look terrible. Obviously, starting off the year with those losses to New York didn't exactly help, but we're doing quite well. I'll try to get a full report on Brown here. We're going to end up starting a 2-game series here against the Mets. We end up losing the first. Let's see, Jimenez, 4+ years away, 4+ years away, 4+ years away, 3 years away at 26. I want that full report on Malone. Medina, no thank you. Boyer should be ready next year. Let's get a full report there. Hutchins, no. Harris, let's try to get a 100% accurate report on. And Santana, Francisco Santana, will be the next guy. So we split that series with the Mets and start off a 4-game series against Oakland with a loss. Let's see, 22, Beltran, Todd Hopper. Anybody else worth looking at here out of these 80s? Again, we don't need anything specific, so I'm not scouting or drafting for need. We're just trying to find the best players available. So we'll end up doing what we can in this draft. Lou Hurley is still going to be out for a long time. As we at least pick up 1 win against Oakland, we have a chance to end up tying that series. Let's see, who else? 21, let's go for Buford Gilmore again. Max Haskett. Murillo, not exactly worth it. Take a look at Josh Kotz and Michael Reyes. So this could be a pitching-heavy draft for us, which I'm okay with. We lose 3 out of 4 against Oakland. We are 8 days out from the draft. And as per usual, I have to wonder with my strategy. I usually end up wondering with my strategy, like, okay, am I spending too much time, just trying to find players to begin with? But I think we'll do okay. Maybe famous last words as to whether or not we'll actually end up having a strong draft. Let's see. Next guy worth scouting here is going to be Gerald Baker. Gerald with a J. You're kidding me. Gerald with a J. You are not real. I am sorry. To all you Geralds with a J out there. That's not a thing, though. So I'm not apologizing to anybody that's real. Because no one has named their kid Gerald, and have it be a J instead of a G. Because if you do, you're a psychopath. Just period. What's the matter with you? Why would you do that to your child? I don't have an issue with the name Gerald, but Gerald with a J. And yes, I will die on this hill of discussion. I will. Damn it. As, Ryan all out for a week or two. Okay, that's not that bad at least. I thought it was going to be worse there. Not the best month for us here down the stretch. Quite a few losses as we approach the draft. Let's get a full report on Ament. Is there anybody else here that we want to get that full report on? Buster Couture. I didn't even notice that I was scouting Buster Couture. Do you know how amazing that is? I hope we end up with him. Good old Buster Couture. Emil Silva, we'll get that full report on. DeAndre Hyde as well. I want a full report there. So we're good to go. 4 days out from the draft. We end up getting our asses kicked by Philly, and then Ben Mesa will go down to injury for 2 to 3 months. So that is brutal. So in AAA, they're missing an outfielder. Where the hell does Mesa play? I actually don't know. By the way, Andy Wales right now looking like he might be the starter. Mesa is a catcher, so we'll bump up Hudson to AA, and we will bump up somebody to AAA. Let's see, 73, Jeffrey Hurd. Congratulations. You get the bump up to AAA, and Power gets the bump up to double. Beautiful. As far as the scouting goes, AI, just go ahead and handle it. We're pretty much good to just head straight into the draft. We get another win over the Boston Red Sox. They have taken that step back. I'm going to decline that offer from LA without looking at it. As there we go, to the draft. We ended up doing fairly well against Boston. Let's see if we can do well in this draft. Buford Gilmore already off the board. I'm upset about that. We have the 26th pick. What can we do with it? Let's find out. So Kirby Ciacia, hopefully. He's 18 and is not a whole hell of a lot there. Can play second in the corner outfield spots, but not overly impressed. DeAndre Hyde for 4 pitches as a closer. Hyde's looking pretty good. Hyde could be a strong addition to the bullpen. Justin Brown, first, left, and center. Not bad. Not tremendous, but not bad, particularly in the fielding category. Like a little bit more speed for someone who can play center, but Brown's all right. Floyd Harris. Floyd Harris, also solid in terms of contact. Good speed, good fielding. Or good speed, good stealing. The fielding is a little bit low. What about Casey Lopez? Again, not terrible, but nothing blowaways. So right now, Hyde's still probably my favorite. Buster Couture. Look at the contact, look at the power, the vision, the discipline, the fielding. Buster Couture is the new favorite. 100% Buster Couture is the new favorite. Just for that bat alone. Damn. Also with that 80 potential. Sean Callahan. Also looking like a bit of a pickup there. The contact, the vision, the discipline, the fielding. I like what I see with Sean Callahan. Couture is definitely the guy, though. Brandon Byer, also not that bad with the power that he has, but obviously not our go-to. Dan Majam, probably, but Dan Majam, unfortunately, not worthy of the first pick, but God, I hope we end up with him. Definitely a fielding first shortstop, but Dan Majam, god damn, I didn't even mean to do that, I'm sorry. Fletcher Wade, also very well-rounded. All right, Johnny Murdoch. All right, so we have our guy. And it's Buster Couture. Extremely well-rounded, arguably the best one at the plate thus far, and also a switch hitter. So Buster Couture, I'm feeling fairly confident in this pick. He will be our guy as Dan Majam goes to Pittsburgh. We were so close to ending up with Mr. Majam. It just didn't happen. And as it stands now, again, Lopez wasn't terrible. Kind of average in everything, the 19-year-old. Byer? Again, Brandon Byer has that strong power. A little bit worried because he's 21 and 4+ years away, but he has the good power, has the good fielding. And Murdoch, also well-rounded. I might go with Byer. I might. Lopez might be the smarter long-term option, but nothing about Lopez stands out. He's just okay. And then in terms of anybody else here, we have a trio of closers, and then it falls off. So Brandon Byer is going to be my pick here, I think. I know we took a third baseman, and now we're going to look to take a first baseman. It's going to be Brandon Byer. Now, the one argument you can make is maybe he'd be available later, but I'm more confident in him than I am in Lopez. So Byer is the pickup. Yeah, look at all the competitive balance rounds. The Yankees ended up with so many extra picks for who they ended up losing, to the point where you might see it here. The Yankees have already made the max amount of selections you're allowed to make before round 3. That's how many compensation picks they ended up with from losing guys like Aaron Judge. I think they also lost Gary Sanchez. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And unfortunately now for us here, it's a complete crapshoot. Cortez is okay, but as far as who we end up taking here, I don't know. I'll probably base it off of age and ETA. So 2024, 18-year-old Cole Bronson, the reliever. Again, there's nothing we can go off of. So right here, we're just saying, okay, what's their age and what's their ETA? And I got to be honest, I think I'm probably going to go for the reliever Cole Bronson. He's 18 years old, and according to this, he's going to be Major League ready next year. So I think I'm good with that. I know Hemphill has the 75 potential. And Cortez has the 80 overall, but we can't trust it. The reports aren't accurate. So I'm going to go for Cole Bronson, the reliever, just for the fact that he's the youngest and apparently going to be ready soon. Of course, that ETA can change, though, once you scout out other players. But we have nothing else to go off of here, right? We got nothing else to go off of here. It's just best guess, as there's a starter, a catcher, a third baseman, and an outfielder. And I'm going to go for the outfielder, just for the fact that, again, age. Esquivel, low injury risk, and again, any other stat you're seeing there we can't really trust. Javier Esquivel is going to be my next pick. We're just having to go complete crapshoot here. I don't know, I feel like maybe we did spend a little bit too much time scouting, but that's the issue. And of course, the Yankees, all those extra compensation selections really screwed me over, because those would have been the players that I would have had info on. So that's definitely a part of the reason as to why now we've had so little to go off of in this draft. Let's go ahead and pick up the New Hampshire-born catcher Julian Williams with this next pick. And as long as we get lucky with one of these selections, cool. If not, it is what it is. And that's it, actually. That's it. I don't believe there are any players left in the draft to take. So, the New York Yankees and company really screwed me over on that front. But let's take a look at what we're dealing with. Yikes. Okay, so Buster Couture was the right pick. Not just for the facial hair. 72 overall at 18 years old with 87 potential. No durability issues. Buster Couture should be great for us. That's a really good pickup for an end of first round selection. So I'm happy to have Buster Couture on this roster. Brandon Byer, not so much. He's 21, 61, C potential. It's just probably not going to work out for him. I'm willing to sign him, but yeah, that's rough. And then Cole Bronson was a complete swing and miss. Complete swing and miss. Unfortunately, a D potential at 18. We're not even going to bother signing him. Esquivel is an okay C potential guy. Certainly further along than Byer. 66 overall at 21 years old. 74 C potential. Good speed, though. Which is crazy because he's 6'5", 231 pounds. We're still going to bring him in. And then another C potential guy in Julian Williams. He's 22, 64. Also okay for a depth option. So we ended up signing Byer, Esquivel, and Williams. They're all just okay. The big thing here is that at the very least we delivered in our first round pick with Buster Couture. As far as whether or not there were other good pickups, I mean, again, it's like, actually Camacho was a really good pickup for the White Sox there at 23 years old. He at least has a chance. My big thing here, if you see a player that you're interested in, to be like, oh, I saw this guy like down here, Brian Hall, can you check to see how good he is? Because again, potential isn't everything. Hall, he's a 63 at 23 years old. He's never going to make it. Who I am interested in looking at are the players that I was considering drafting, right? And even like Pinto right there, he's 21, but at 59, set A potential. How much does that matter? Not much, really. Francisco Santana is a familiar name there from the board, at least someone we scouted out. He's looking pretty damn good, although I do like our pick more. Is there anybody else that we were really considering? That is my question. Taking a look, and I'm not really seeing anybody. And again, at the very least, you could take a look at who ended up with who. But as far as finding teams, Max Haskett, a familiar name from the board, definitely a project, and one hell of a beard. One hell of a beard. But at the very least, you guys get to see who went where, and I get a chance to see whether or not I made a horrible, horrific mistake in not selecting certain players, like DeAndre Hyde. But you know what? We did make the right choice. But he was the guy we were considering in the first round. And we passed. He wasn't available in the second round, I don't think. If he was, this would have been a phenomenal draft for us. He ended up going to the Mets. Gerald is actually okay for a C potential guy. Anybody else? Kiki Arthur? Sean Callahan? Also not that great. Low overall at 21 years old. I think we're pretty much good. There are definitely some players. Casey Lopez, 40 overall. I don't really think I could have gone, and done that well with either of the first base options. Buford Gilmore, a project for them. Dan Majam, 51 overall at 19C potential. But just for the name alone, that is my favorite name that I have seen in MLB this year. Bar none. Bar frickin' none. Dan Majam. Kirby as well, definitely more of a project for a C potential guy. Hemphill, a D potential, so maybe not even that great of a draft, all things considered. Colorado did well. I guess they had some compensation. Compensatory, you know what I'm trying to say. I've never been able to say the word, compensation, but adding compensation and a Tory. I can't say it. There's a disconnect in my brain, and it doesn't happen. Floyd Harris actually isn't that bad either. Let's go ahead and skip through the next few. Emil Silva was okay. Michael Reyes. Robert Handy. Good old Robert Handy. It's a good name. It's a good thing your name isn't Richard. And then there you have the Yankees who, they brought in some players. They didn't exactly hit on every selection, though. We got Buster Couture, one of the better players in the draft from what I was seeing there. I am perfectly okay with that. What we're going to do, we are going to make it to the All-Star break as we normally do. Let's take a look at some stats. So Soroka's doing, actually, hold on. Let's take a look around the league. So league leader right now in ERA is a 1.67. There are only 3 players below a 2. So keep that in mind. There are only 3 players below a 2. So anything under a 3 right now is solid, which includes Hunter Green. So all things considered, Soroka's doing okay. Liriano's doing okay. Hunter Green has been phenomenal. The wins-loss record isn't quite what we'd want it to be. Eflin, the bloom might be off the rose there. And same for Henry Murillo, not phenomenal. Gohara with a 1.6 whip is, Jordan Hicks is doing much, much better this season. Oh, I like to see that. Bergman is killing it, so what a pickup he was. Where did we get him from? Oakland. Monster. Victor Arano has been okay. Herman's been phenomenal. Alvarado's been just okay. James Ho's been great, even though he's on a cold streak. So overall, there are a couple of players I'm concerned about. But overall, things have been looking pretty good. Chavez is dominating AAA right now. Absolutely dominating. Which is what I like to see. And Tony Dennison is, only 14 innings pitched, but doing very well in AAA as well. Bo Bichette, a 258 average. What's his on base for someone who's been running leadoff lately? 332. Not bad. 10 home runs and 32 RBIs. Urena, not quite living up to what he can. I'd like to see that average be higher. Jesus Christ. Junior. Oh my God. Just when you think Vlad Jr. can't get any better. A 438 on base. Criminy. Martin Santana doing well. 8 homers, 30 RBIs, a 269 average. Arias is struggling. Robles is struggling. Tavares has done okay. More of a power bat than you would have expected. Armenteros, alright. And Miea has been pretty solid, actually. I do want to change up the lineup, please. The rotation, actually, are we on an off day? We are on an off day. Beautiful. So let's reorder this a little bit, shall we? I'm going to keep the bullpen the same way, I think. Although, actually, in saying that, is there anybody else who can handle the duty of being a long reliever? Not really. So, Bergman, congratulations. You're the new setup man. James Hu will still be the closer. And Hunter Green, you're not going to be our ace. In fairness, the rotation's pretty much where we'd want it to be. Lineup-wise, though, so the two 215s, Arias should probably sit from Matheny or Cassidy. Andy Wales has only had 9 at-bats, and he's struggled thus far. He hasn't played a whole hell of a lot. I'm kind of liking Art Matheny back at second. Arias has been struggling, so let's bring Matheny back in. Miea is going to get the bump. Probably back up to that 5 spot. We had him higher up before. Bichette lead off. A 236 there. Let's go Santana in the second spot, just for that stealing factor. Put Miea there. Do I really want to change this for everything? No. No, I don't, and probably won't. But just for the, hey, judge me if I were to set up everything the way I wanted to, if you think I'd be doing it the wrong way. Because that's pretty much what my lineup would look like at the moment. With Robles really struggling to get going. But for now, at least we've kept an eye on it. We have a month and a half to go until the All-Star break, so let's go ahead and do this. Will Chadwick with a broken nail, that is unfortunate. We have 3 games against Detroit. Let's see what we can do here. A couple of players back from injury. We take 2 out of 3 away from them. And honestly, screw it. Go ahead, AI. Take control. Just don't do anything stupid. Please. Even then, I'm nervous to just give them control. I think in AAA, all I'd have to do is send down Hurd. Was it Hurd? No, it was Riley, I think. Send him down to AA, and then send that guy down to single. I think that was the main fix there. But if it wants to handle the lineups, go right ahead. I'm afraid, though, it's going to call up or send down some players that I just don't want it to. So we take the series against Detroit. We have 2 games against the Yankees. Ben Mesa's still out. We take both games there. Beautiful. 4 games against Baltimore. 34 wins to 29. I'd like to see us do well in this series, which is why we probably won't. And we split it. It's not terrible. 36 wins against 27 wins. It's a 3-game series against Tampa. And we take that as well. We're on a decent roll right now. 3 games against Washington. Fairly similar record. We end up taking 2 out of 3 there. 2 games against a very good Atlanta squad. And we win both of those. We are on a roll right now. It's what I like to see. Hunter Green has been just absolutely phenomenal. We have 4 games against LA. We're facing Shohei Ohtani. And we put up 11 runs. The best pitcher in baseball. I'm sure you just saw how much that ERA spiked. He had himself a bad game. They are able to rebound, though, and win the next 2. We end up splitting that series, so the streak is still alive in terms of not losing a series in this month. 3 games against Houston will decide whether or not that remains to be the case, and indeed it will. We sweep the Astros. We end the month of June with a game against Detroit. It's a 5-4 loss. It's actually a 4-game series extending into Monday, which we have at least tied, and we end up winning 3-4, or 3 out of 4. So 50 wins now on the year. We're 2 weeks out from the All-Star break. We have 2 games here against the Mets that we end up losing. So there we go. We finally lost a series. At least it wasn't a traditional series. 3 games against the Yankees. We have an identical record right now. Damn. Let's see how this goes. We lose game 1. We lose game 2, we get swept. So earlier in the year, we actually did fairly well, but that is a big-time point swing for New York. 2 games against Atlanta. We lose the first one. We lose the second. Not the right time to go on a dive here. 7 straight losses. We have 4 games against Boston, to end things for today. We finally remember what it's like to win a game. Make it 2 in a row. And make it 3 in a row. We do not have a participant in the home run derby, so we will not bother. Overall, we finished the first half of the season at 53 and 42. We're 4.5 back of New York. We're right now the 5th-ranked team in the league, behind the 2nd-ranked team in the league. 53 wins, though, would have us be in a pretty decent spot in pretty much every other league. The Padres right now, absolutely killing it. But we have a decent lead on Baltimore. The Red Sox have finally fallen off, and the Rays have fallen off as well. So in the wild card right now, 2.5 up on both the Tigers, Orioles, and Twins. Or not the Twins. Twins are 3.5 up. But you get the point. We're doing okay. All things considered, 258 average for the team, 3.45 ERA. We are doing okay. League leaders, just because we knew, my God, Junior is having an unfathomable season. Holy hell, man. Number 1 in average, number 1 in hits, 3rd in doubles. I thought he was up there for triples, too. That ended up being Bichette and Santana. Home run leader right now is Matt Olson in the AL, Junior at 19, so Olson's relatively far ahead. RBIs as well, Olson at 78. Runs total, stolen bases. Delino DeShields. Good to see you pick things back up once I got rid of you. And on-base percentage, Junior just absolutely killing it. So much better. The slugging percentage, not better than Villanueva or Ian Happ, but he's just been absolutely phenomenal for us. It's unbelievable. And in terms of ERA for the moment, just as that main comparison. So again, anything under a 3 is top-notch. And right now, we know Hunter Green's doing well. So Soroka's been okay, but not great. Liriano's been good. Green's been phenomenal. Murillo has been okay. And then Eflin, since we dropped him, has been great. Up to a 323. We'd probably boost him up. And again, you have to wonder about Soroka in that position as an ace. I think we would bump up Green. Maybe even drop Liriano, arguably. And give Zach Eflin a bit more time as a few more of the high priority starts. Gohara doing okay with the 1.33 whip. Alvarado, Bergman's been great. Hicks has been great. Arano's been great. Herman's been pretty good, and James, who's been phenomenal. Of course, the AI loves to go with the double setup, so it's something I would have liked to have avoided. But lineup-wise is what I was concerned about, and here's what we've been going with. Bo Bichette, 13-46 with a 9 or a 292 average. On pace right now for the best average of his career. His on-base percentage is also phenomenal. Martin Santana, 1650 with a 240. Not bad for him. Key thing here that I'm jinxing for the next episode, he's been able to stay healthy. Junior has been amazing. Miella has been phenomenal as well, a 271. Highest batting average since he has been here was a 275 in his first year. So that's a nice return to form for him. Taveras, 18 home runs, 65 RBIs, and a 275 average. How he is such a, like a dominant power hitter, really. Not dominant, but you look at what he's done since we've called him up. I don't understand that power. Urena, 214 average, meh. So he's been a bit disappointing. Arias has turned it around, which is nice, up to a 255 average. Armenteros has been a bit meh. And Robles as well, not exactly lighting the world on fire. Cassidy's been pretty damn good thus far. Matheny's been okay. Hernandez was, been okay as well. And Andy Wales, of course, still hasn't really done or seen much. I'm tempted to send him down. I can't imagine. he expects to be platoon. I'm sure he'd be a bit more happy about being on the bench than he would be being in the minors. And just to look down in AAA, Ryan Dahl is killing it. He is absolutely getting called up for next year. Dion Melendez as well, who's a C potential guy. I forget where we picked him up from. It was recently, though. He's also having himself one hell of a season. So with that, let's go ahead and find out who the hell our nominees are for the All-Star Game, and that will bring this episode to a close. Overall, it's another episode with optimism. The draft was hit or miss, but I'm feeling very optimistic about this team's chances as Hunter Green ends up making the All-Star Game. Bergman makes the All-Star Game as well. Brad Hand, we miss you every day. And James Hoos, not bad. a starter, a reliever, and the closer. Very nice. Very nice. And of course, Jesus, this is the Blue Jays dominated All-Star game. Bo Bichette has made it. Junior has made it as well. Is he the last one? He is, but still a ridiculous amount of representatives from your Toronto Blue Jays in this season. Again, 53 and 42 on the year. We're a young team. We're only getting better. I'm excited for the rest of this season. We do have some question marks as well. Let me know if you would change anything about the lineup or anything like that. Let me know. I am intrigued. But yeah, damn, guys, that'll do it for this one. You know the deal. You know the deal. Support the video. Support the channel. And yeah, looking forward to any and all feedback. For those of you still enjoying the series, glad to hear it. Still don't plan on it going anywhere despite NHL 19 being out. And of course, that taking top priority for the moment. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Take it easy. I'll catch you later.